Hello, welcome to Dundrow's podcast. I'm your host Justin. Today we're reviewing X Factor, Volume 2, Life and Death Matters for X-Men month, where all throughout the month of June we're reviewing X-Men comics and X-Men related, graphic novels. So obviously X Factor is part of the X-Men universe. So this book came out in 2007. My bad. It's written by Peter David with art by Dennis Calero, Ariel Olivetti, Renato Arlem, and Roy Allen Martinez. Right. This trade collects issues 7 through 12 of X Factor. Right. So I gotta say, I am mixed on this book because there are a lot of cool things happen in this book, but also some weird and creepy stuff as well. And they, in my opinion, mishandled the whole mystery of this book, right? Which we'll just show you some of the art. There's Banshee, by the way. Because they changed artists several times throughout this book. Also, they deal with Civil War as well, that was okay. But the art for that was pretty bad. So you got like the X-Men and Quicksilver and this guy from the New Warriors make cameos, right? Here's the X-Men. See, I'm just showing you some of the art. There was some cool art in this book, but some not so great art as well. Yeah. So, what happened in this book? A lot happened in this book. Our characters finally found out the secret behind the mutant decimation, right? Where 90% of mutants on the planet lost their powers. They found out that it was because of Scarlet Witch and the House of M incident, and they're pretty pissed off that the X-Men lied to them, right? Other stuff that happens is Quicksilver has the ability, thanks to the Terrigen Mist, which is an Inhumans thing, by the way, is able to give mutants back their powers, right? But it has this like monkey paw kind of thing, where it kind of like a lot of the mutants that get their powers back can't handle it, right? So you have this thing where Richter can't decide whether or not he should get his powers back, right? You also have our characters dealing with the Civil War, which has to do with the superhuman Registration Act, which the X-Men made a deal with Iron Man that they would be neutral, but the X Factor characters are like, fuck that. It's day 1 is registration, day 2 is rounding up people in camp. So they tell the government to go fuck off, which was pretty cool. And like the final act of the book, you have the climax between X Factor versus Singularity investigations, where they find out that Damien Tripp, Senior and Junior, and the Wizard guy are all the same person, and they're like basically a super mutant, right? And that Damien Tripp was responsible for the death of Madrox's parents, right? And you also got the appearance of Jamie Madrox is crazy homicidal duplicate, right? Which sometimes shows up. So okay, what did I think about the book? I thought that a lot of stuff happened. It was a very fast-paced read because a lot of things were happening. But also some creepy shit happened as well. Because, like, after one small victory that they had over the Mutant Registration Act, facing off against the X-Men, Jamie Madrox gets drunk and turns out his duplicates went off and had sex with both Teresa and Monette, and you have this creepy thing where he passes by Layla, and like Layla, who's a kid, by the way. Also, you have Spider-Man has a cameo, right? Who's like a kid, by the way, and like Layla, we didn't do anything last night either. Keep in mind, Layla is a kid, right? There's Layla, and she's like, no, but I'm saving myself for when we get married, right? And she tells him, hey, we're gonna get married one day. So it's like super fucking creepy. This is like the kind of shit that like the one dude got in trouble for, right? And like yeah, I kind of find it, and this isn't the first time I've encountered this in comics or books. Like in the R.A. Salvatore Legend of Driss series, there's like Driss, who is like a dark elf, meets this one character when she's a kid, and later on, they have a relationship further on in the books after, like, there's a time skip. And yeah, that shit was creepy here, there, and here too. So that was a little weird, right? Like, kind of very, creepy, right? But the good things are another bad thing that I didn't like, that I gotta mention, is I didn't like that they finally wrapped up they wrapped up the House of M, mystery, right? The mutant decimation mystery, which we knew. If you read House of M, you knew what happened, but like the way they find out is very dumb. Basically, they find out Jamie has like a meeting with Damian Tripp from Singularity Investigations, where the Singularity Investigations decide, hey, fuck this, we're just gonna buy you out. We don't want to deal with your bullshit no more, right? And he's like, Jamie tells him to screw off. You just don't want us to find out how the mutant decimation happened. And he's like, why is that? Because you guys caused it. You anti-mutants caused it. Keep in mind, Damian Tripp is a mutant, right? And he's like, retard. You should be asking You should be asking your friends how the mutant decimation happened, right? Because he didn't think that it was a little suspicious that most mutants lost their powers, but you know who didn't lose their powers? The X-Men and the X-Teams, right? So it was kind of obvious that, okay, it was probably somebody close to the X-Men. Because if a supervillain who hated the X-Men somehow got the means to depower mutants across the globe, why wouldn't they depower the X-Men? The most famous, most powerful mutants on the planet. They spared them, but they went after, the mutants nobody gives a shit about. So he probably should put two and two together that, okay, maybe it was somebody close to the X-Men, right? Old Scarlet Witch herself. I got a double of her recently. I was not too happy about that. Whatever. I'm giving that away to a friend. But yeah, I did find the climax of the book cool. I like the reveal that the Damian Tripp Senior and Junior and the old wizard guy, who's pretty OP in the book, are in fact one and the same, which reminds me of that German TV show I reviewed, Dark, where you have these henchmen of Ava, which are a kid, a guy, and an old man, and they're all the same person, right, from different time periods. So I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. You have this one guy from different time periods, the same guy from different time periods working together. Like they call them the multiple man, like which is what Jamie Maddox's like mutant power is. So I thought that was cool, but like yeah, there's still a lot of the cringe, try hard dialogue, try hard funny dialogue here. It gets meta at times, right? Where they made fun of the way like how like Rain talks and like uh, Rain talks, which was coined by like Chris Claremont. How you handled like accents in comic books, right? They made fun of that, which is like that was pretty like a big deal back in the day. It was pretty like what's the word fuck. Uh, it was very innovative at the time, right? But yeah, like the creepy shit was weird. The cringe dialogue was weird. I did not like how they because as soon as they got the tip that it might have been one of their friends that was responsible, literally they just Siren goes up to Spider-Man, uses her powers, to trick him into telling her everything he knew about the mutant decimation, and then they find out everything that happened in House of M. It was like, god damn it. It was that easy. Oh my god. Yeah. So it's kind of like, man, I kind of wish they could have dragged it out, and they could have dragged it out. And they even once they find out, they didn't even talk about how we're gonna get mutants back their powers again, right? They didn't even talk about that. So I guess we're gonna have to wait till Volume 3, which I have some stores around town that actually has Volume 3 of this book. I'm not even sure if I want to pick it up now, because it's like, well, you guys just pretty much solved the major mystery of the book, man. But I kind of do want to keep reading, because I kind of want to keep reading just to see how they handled the Richter and Shatterstar thing, because they didn't even make references that what's his name is bi or gay, right? They actually did the opposite in the first 2 volumes, right? So I'm kind of curious on how the hell they're gonna handle that. And despite they make Shatterstar gay, I still think he's a cool character. I want to read books with Shatterstar, right? I want to see how they handle him. So yeah, I'm gonna probably pick up the 3rd volume, and we'll go from there, right? And yeah. So if I were to give this book a rating, it's the thing where if they didn't put the creepy shit, I would almost give this not exactly a 7, but a 6.5 out of 10. But because they put the creepy shit with Jamie and Layla Miller, I'm giving it 5.5 out of 10. Right. So for our next X-Men month review, we're going to review. I have the trades for this, but I have 12 more graphic novels to review for X-Men month. So we're just going to review the first 3 issues of X-Force Volume 3 by Craig Kyle and Chris Yost, the creators of Wolverine and the X-Men, who also created X-23 when they did that X-Men Evolution show or whatever. Yeah, Craig Kyle and Chris Yost. You got cool art here. And this comic book, which I paid for $1.50 back in the day, collects the first 3 issues. The first 3 issues of the Craig Kyle and Chris Yost run. Which, yeah, I have the first 2 volumes of this series, but because of time constraints, I'm just going to review this comic book.